Namaskar, I'm Shobal Srivastava and welcome to GeoBriefing episode 4. Today we have an action-packed show covering some of the most pressing global developments. The United States and Israel have made headlines by withdrawing from United Nations Human Rights Council and slashing funding to UNRWA. El Salvador proposed a controversial deal to house US deportees in its notorious CECOT prison. Meanwhile, Argentina joins the US in exiting the WHO, citing concerns over sovereignty and pandemic handling. In the Middle East, Trump and Netanyahu's Gaza's plan has sparked global outrage. Panama has made a significant move by pulling out of China's Belt and Road Initiative, and the US has imposed sanctions on the ICC. Finally, major shifts in US foreign policy, with Trump pushing to shut down US aid and political drama in the Philippines, where Vice President Sara Duterte faces impeachment. Stick with us as we break down these stories and much more. US President Donald Trump announced the permanent withdrawal of United States from the UN Human Rights Council (UNHRC) and the termination of all funding to the UN Relief and Works Agency for Palestinian Refugees (UNRWA). Trump cited the council's alleged anti-Israel bias and accused UNRWA of links to Hamas, following evidence that some of its employees were involved in the October 7, 2023 Hamas attack on Israel. The move coincided with Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's visit to Washington, during which Trump proposed a US led takeover of Gaza and the resettlement of its 1.8 million residents. Trump also ordered a review of UNESCO and US contributions to the UN. Following the US decision, Israel's foreign minister announced that Israel would also cease participation in UNHRC, citing institutional bias against Israel. UNHRC spokesperson Pascal Sim clarified that Israel, like the US, holds observer status and cannot formally withdraw. The developments mark escalating tensions between US, Israel, and the UN, with growing criticism of the UN's handling of Israeli Palestinian issues. El Salvador has proposed incarcerating American convicts and illegal migrants of any nationality deported from the US at its maximum security prison, CECOT, for a fee. President Nayib Bukele pitched the plan to US Secretary of State Marco Rubio, offering to house criminals including MS-13 and Tren de Aragua gang members. Former President Donald Trump endorsed the idea, citing cost savings and deterrence, but acknowledged legal barriers under US law. The US Constitution prohibits cruel and unusual punishment and restricts deporting American born citizens. CECOT, known for its harsh conditions, holds 40,000 inmates under strict surveillance. Meanwhile, Trump has begun transferring migrants to Guantanamo Bay amid his immigration crackdown. Washington also considers El Salvador as a safe third country for deportees. The proposal faces significant legal challenges, with experts warning of constitutional violation if the US outsources incarceration to El Salvador. Argentina will withdraw from World Health Organization (WHO). President Javier Milei's office announced, citing profound differences with the UN agency. The move follows the United States' decision to leave the WHO last month. Government spokesman Manuel Adorni stated that Argentina would not allow an international body to interfere in our sovereignty, particularly criticizing WHO's handling of the COVID-19 pandemic. The exit aims to provide Argentina with greater flexibility in health policies and resource allocation. Milei, a self-proclaimed anarcho-capitalist and supporter of Donald Trump, has pushed drastic austerity measures since taking office in December 2023, including deep cuts in public spending. His economic policies have led to a record trade surplus in 2024, but also worsened poverty levels. Milei recently visited Trump at Mar-a-Lago after Republicans' election victory, strengthening ties between the two leaders. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu endorsed US President Donald Trump's proposal to take control of Gaza, supporting a plan for Palestinians to leave the territory. The controversial proposal, announced at a White House press conference, suggests relocating Gazans to neighboring countries and maintaining Israeli authority over the region. Global condemnation followed, with Middle Eastern leaders and Western allies rejecting the plan as illegal. Israel's defense minister instructed the military to prepare for the voluntary departure of the Gaza residents. Critics argue the plan contradicts international law and undermines Palestinian statehood aspirations. Trump later claimed Gaza would be handed over to the US post conflict, though details remain unclear. Netanyahu reaffirmed Israel's commitment to dismantling Hamas while its ceasefire negotiations remain uncertain. Jordan, Qatar, and other nations strongly oppose the proposal as concerns mount over forced displacement and the potential for an enduring conflict. In a significant move on 6 February, Panama's president announced the country's official withdrawal from China's Belt and Road Initiative (BRI), a massive infrastructure program Panama had joined in 2017. The Panamanian embassy in Beijing has already issued a 90-day notice to terminate the agreement. Panama becomes the first Latin American nation to pull out of the initiative. This decision follows a visit from US Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who praised Panama's exit as a great step forward in improving bilateral relations. Tension had been rising due to US claims about China's influence over the Panama Canal, with President Trump accusing Panama of charging excessive fees and allowing Chinese control. Despite this, President Mulino rejected claims about preferential passage for US naval vessels through the canal and insisted the decision was made independently, with no external pressure. US President Donald Trump has imposed sanctions on the International Criminal Court (ICC), accusing the body of abusing its power in targeting the United States and Israel. Trump signed an executive order on 7 February 2025, freezing assets and imposing travel bans on ICC officials, employees, and those involved in investigations against the US and its allies. This move follows an ICC arrest warrant for Israeli officials, including Prime Minister Netanyahu, over alleged war crimes in Gaza. The US White House criticized the ICC as illegitimate, asserting the court's actions threatened American sovereignty. The sanctions sparked global concern, with European leaders and organizations like Amnesty International condemning the decision. While Israel praised it as a defense against the ICC's actions, the ICC vowed to continue its work, emphasizing its commitment to justice for victims of global atrocities. The future of US Agency for International Development (USAID) is uncertain as President Donald Trump pushes for its closure, intending to merge it with the State Department. Trump has criticized the agency's spending, which includes humanitarian aid like famine relief and health programs globally. In response, US aid recalled workers and paused missions, affecting vital programs such as vaccination efforts and disaster relief. While Trump and Elon Musk label US aid as wasteful, their claims have been challenged, including false accusations of Hollywood star funding. Efforts to shut it down face legal hurdles as the agency's establishment requires congressional approval. Critics warn the move could harm global stability and national security. When proponents argue it aligns spending with US interests, the debate intensifies as global humanitarian need remains high. On 8th February 2025, Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania officially disconnected from Russia's Soviet era energy grid, a significant geopolitical move. The decision, made after more than 3 decades since the Soviet Union's collapse, marked the end of their energy reliance on Russia and Belarus. The disconnection, which began in Lithuania and spread to Latvia and Estonia, paves the way for Baltic nations to merge with European energy network on 9th February 2025. This shift involves new power links with Finland, Sweden, and Poland, replacing previous power lines with Russia. Lithuanian officials hailed the move as a major step towards energy independence. European leaders, including Ursula von der Leyen, and Baltic leaders are set to celebrate the transition in Vilnius. This disconnection follows years of preparation, including the installation of underwater cables, and aims to reduce the region's dependence on Russian energy. As we have explored today, these global events are not just political moves, they have deep implications on international relationships, security, and humanitarian issues. The shifting dynamics between powerful nations like US, Israel, and others challenge the status quo of global governance and the very framework designed to ensure peace and cooperation. As citizens of the world, it's essential to stay informed, share these discussions, and continue to engage with the ever changing global landscape. If you want more insightful analysis on these developments or want to explore other key international issues, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the latest updates. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's keep the conversation going. धन्यवाद.